Great. Okay. Great. Thanks everybody for being here. This is the first of my new series of workshops. I'm going to go through each of the seven chakras, one per month, and of course we're starting with the root chakra, the first chakra, and the planet Mars. Next month we'll do Venus in the second chakra, the sacral chakra, and then Saturn in the third chakra, and work our way all the way through. So yeah, this is the first one, or the second part of the first one. Um, and so the idea, if you're not familiar with with my brand of astrology, there's an ancient Hermetic principle or law known as the law of correspondence. So you see that reflected in the idea of as above, so below. We don't say that the stars and the planets are making us do things down here on the earth, but we say that there are a reflection of what's happening down here on the earth. And so the chart, which shows a picture of the sky the moment you were born, is a representation of the person you are. That's why every chart is a little bit different or a lot different from everyone else's, and why all people are different from everyone else. Um, so, along with the law of correspondence is, of course, the gods and goddesses and the Greek and Roman pantheon have the same names as the planets. And the 7 days of the week have the same names as those seven planets, too. That's if you speak French, you understand that easier, or Spanish. In in English, we use the Germanic gods, but the Venus day is Friday. It's called Viernes in Spanish. Freya, Friday, Freya's day. Freya is the Germanic version of Venus, and so the days of the week have the same names. The seven colors of the rainbow correspond to these seven chakras as well. And of course, the seven traditional planets correspond to the seven chakras. So this is nothing I made up. In fact, I know some of you have heard me say this before. The, the first seven of the Ten Commandments in the Bible go just like that through the chakra system. They're describing the same principle, or addressing the same principle. The seven books of Harry Potter also follow in that exact same order. And that's the point. Every work of literature in Western culture, from the Bible on one end and Harry Potter on the other, follows this same pattern. And so that's what chakraology is. It's tapping into what's been part of our way of being in the world for thousands of years. And so, yeah, we're going to talk about the root chakra, and we're going to talk about Mars. But where I'm coming from, they're the same thing. One of them is outside of you, representing the one that is inside of you. So that's how we roll with chakraology. Now, is there anyone in here that has never seen me or had a reading from me, and this is like completely brand new? This is not news to anybody. Okay, good, good. So so yeah, I'm going to start with some description of Mars and description of root chakra, and then the main part of tonight is going to be dedicated to looking at y'all's charts one at a time, and I'll say, oh, look at your Mars. This is what's happening with your Mars. This shows us how your root chakra is wired, how your root chakra is oriented. Everyone's a little bit different. And so you'll get to see how I pick apart the different elements of a planet, so that you can start to do this for yourself. You can say, oh yeah, my Mars is in the eighth house, and that means blah blah blah. Or yeah, my Mars is in Sagittarius, and that's very different than Mars being in Virgo, etc., etc. So yeah, you should have a little bit of knowledge retained at the end of this, so that you can start to really dive into your own chart on your own. Um, And then the very last part, I'm going to take questions and answers to see if there's anything that we hadn't made clear. Okay, if y'all are ready, we shall begin. Russ. Okay, no one's moving, so I'm thinking that's like yes. All right, I got a thumbs up. Thank you, Annabeth. So yeah, we learn the the basic thing we learn about the root chakra is that it's about survival. And the thing is the root symbolizes your connection to the earth. And just like a plant has a root that holds it to the earth, your root chakra holds you to your physical life. Um, it begins with your birth, it ends with your death. And between those two bookmarks, that is your life. And so the root chakra, it can be related to the heart and can be connected to the crown. It can be working in concert with all the other chakras, and hopefully it is. But the root chakra, all by itself, all it wants to do is stay alive. It wants to be here. So it wants you to be in your physical body. That's its main function, is to keep you alive. So survival is the baseline. I need food, I need clothing, I need shelter to keep my body functioning. But that's not the end of the story, because once you have your survival needs met, you can graduate up to thrival, not just being here, but being well, like having vibrant health, having lots of activity. I mean, do you like to run? Do you like to jump? Do you like to play? Do you like to sing? Do you like to dance? Do you like to break a sweat? Do you like to exercise? Do you like to go fishing? Whatever it is, Mars is all about doing stuff. And so you came here to move around in this body. That's what the body's for, to not just move around, but to get stuff done. Okay. And you see, if you take my class, you know that there's a higher purpose. The lower chakras are paired with the upper chakras, and the root at the very bottom is paired, of course, with the crown at the very top. And so the crown is your spiritual awareness. It gives you a reason to do whatever you're doing. Mars all by itself is just doing stuff. Well, I don't care. I don't care what I'm doing. I just need to be moving, right? But when it's connected, as it always is, to your crown, then it's like, I have a reason to do what I'm doing. I have a purpose. And so one of the great things to have to help your Mars, to help your root chakra, is have a goal, or to have a mission, or to have a purpose. It's like, what am I fighting for? Mars is the god of war. He's not just about fighting. That just comes to us from the Romans, right? Because they were all about fighting and conquering. But Mars also symbolizes energy, physical energy, and strength needed to, for example, to push up through the ground. If you're a plant blooming in the springtime, you got to push through that soil to get up into the sunlight. If you're a bird hatching out of an egg, it's that force and that energy and that power needed to crack through that egg and bust out and to begin your life, right? Uh, Caterpillars turning into butterflies, they need strength and energy. So Mars is the strength and energy you need to get anything done in your life, whether it's fighting a war or whether it's making yourself breakfast in the morning. You need the energy to get stuff done here on the physical plane. The crown just gives you a reason, a purpose. Yeah. But yeah, so Mars wants you to be healthy, wants you to move all the muscles in your body, to stay flexible, to stay active, to stay able to move. And so physical fitness is a big part of root chakra. And so if you have trouble feeling grounded from time to time or regularly, exercise is the best answer, because it not only gets you back into your body, which by which I mean pulls your awareness back into your body. It's like, oh, I'm sore. Oh, I'm sweating. Oh, I'm hot, or oh, I'm cold. It's like get putting your awareness on the actual body itself. But not only does exercise do that for you, but it also helps calm your mind. So it helps your mental function, and it calms your emotions. So the body is basically the foundation for healthy mental function as well as healthy emotional function. The root chakra is at the very bottom, which means it is supporting everything above it, which is everything else. So it's pretty important to pay attention to the root chakra needs. And so I mentioned food, clothing, and shelter. So, you know, don't just eat food of any kind, eat stuff that's going to serve you. I think there's plenty of healthy nutrition information out there these days that my parents certainly did not have when they were growing up or when I was growing up. But nowadays, we have a pretty clear sense of what's going to help our body and what's going to harm it. So, yeah, food, clothing, protecting yourself from the elements, shelter, having a home. You need money to pay for all of these things. And so Mars resonates or is a reflection of your work. What do you do for a living? What do you do to keep yourself literally alive? You make money to get food, clothing, and shelter. So, an important thing to realize is that the money you get from working, your salary or your paycheck, uh, this is a representation. It is exchange. You're exchanging your life force, your energy, and your time in exchange for the money. So this stuff is pretty sacred. Even if you hate your job, um, you are putting your life force into that job and getting paid back in money. So it's also important to have something that you believe in to work for. And that's another way people get disconnected from their root chakra. If they're in a job that doesn't really matter to them or a job that they hate, they're not going to be that concerned with doing a good job. And the application of your life energy and your time is like, whatever. And that's not dynamic and it's not generating energy. It's sucking your energy. So finding work that you're called to, finding work that suits you is very, very important to having a healthy root chakra and to having, excuse me, to, where was I going? I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. Having a healthy root chakra and, oh yeah, being grounded. It's all tied in to being grounded. Um, The other thing that's important to keep in mind, the three pillars of life in the Vedic tradition are rest, digestion, and managing your sexual energy. So you do have to sleep every night and recharge your battery. So getting good and enough sleep is important to healthy functioning on the physical level, as well as the mental and the emotional. Um, Digestion, again, making sure that you're eating food that is good for you and then managing your sexual energy. So your genitals are located down there at the base of your spine. Um, this is it's not just about having sex. It's about realizing that this is part of your life force. You talk about Kundalini or prana or chi. Well, that is root chakra stuff. And so again, the prana, the chi, the kundalini, it feeds everything else, your heart, your sacrum, your solar plexus, your throat, all of it, right? And so managing your sexual energy means recognizing just how important it is and deciding how you want to handle it from a place of power rather than a place of, oh, I had no idea this was so important. Ignoring it is not a good strategy. Just say no is not a good strategy. You have to own this part of yourself like every other part of yourself. So when you are not managing your root chakra, whether you're not working well or whether you're whether you're ill, whether you're sick and you can't physically move as well as you like, you're not getting those needs met, and you tend to get short-tempered and or angry. And of course, Mars, when he's not happy, is the anger god. Just like you have that anger inside of you. When you're not getting your basic survival needs met, you can turn towards anger or short-tempered. You can also turn towards dishonesty. If you have to steal some food to stay alive, right? It's really important to get those needs met before you do anything else. Um, how many of you tend to put other people first and put yourself at a distant second? Can I get any comments or show of hands on the screen there? Any of y'all are more givers than takers?
I
Couple?
wouldn't say
Yeah.
I'm a taker, but I do some. It's a good balance in my opinion. I there are times, but I have pretty good boundaries. It took me a while though,
Right,
until I get
right.
older in my life that I realized that you have to have boundaries. It did take me a while, and someone said to me one time, say, "Let me think about it," instead of answering right away. Because if you say yes,
Yeah. That's good practice for an Aries. Um, so yeah, the thing is, you have to take care of number one first. So, first chakra. The number one is the same character as the letter I in the alphabet. It's like me, I, myself. You have to put the oxygen mask on your own face first when the airplane loses pressure before you can put it on someone else. Because if you try to put it on someone else first, you're going to pass out, and neither one of you is going to get any oxygen. So that is a metaphor for everything else in your life. If you don't take care of your own basic needs first, you're not going to be as helpful as you could be. So if you really want to be helpful to other people, you put yourself first so that you can be of greater service to those people you love. So, um, let's see, what else have we got? Mars, god of springtime, god of anger, god of work, god of physical energy. Yeah, whether you are physically fit or not, you can do something to break a sweat once in a while. It's important to for Mars to stay active. And like I said earlier, it just calms your mind, it calms your emotions. It's the best medicine there is. Speaking of medicine, grounding your body through putting your bare feet on the ground. You know how the electrical plugs have a ground wire? Well, the positively charged part of electricity is the same as the free radicals inside of your body. You have positively charged ions in your body. They got to go somewhere. And if you don't put your feet on the ground, they stay stuck inside of you, and then your body has to cope. And that takes a lot of extra work. That's why a lot of our recent wisdom about the body is about dealing with free radicals. So, getting into a body of water also will discharge the free radicals because water and earth are negatively charged. And so they attract the positive, right? So, yeah, getting outside, some fresh air, not bad. How many of us live in a place where the windows are shut all the time? I know it's hot, but you got to get outside and get some fresh air once in a while, if not more often. So yeah, just taking care of the body is the first way to ground. And so let's take an example for people who are maybe more spiritually oriented, more uh, aware of their crown chakra in the spiritual realm. And there's lots of us, and especially people who like astrology, we think of ourselves as being spiritual. Many of us do. Um, the thing is, spirit and matter need each other. You can't have one all by itself. Spirit all by itself can't do anything. It needs a physical vehicle to actually perform, to act. That's your body. That's the physical vehicle. And like I said earlier, your physical body needs a reason to do anything, or it's just burning energy. And so, spirit and matter put together is ideal. And so, as spiritual people, you want to be sure you don't ignore the root. Um, and so, yeah, just eating a good meal. Uh, I told this story yesterday. When I first did my chakra class, and it's about 14 years ago, it's my first time ever, and it was about an hour and a half, 2 hours long, and I was so wired, I was so nervous, and the nervous tension and the adrenaline were so high for so long. When I got done, I was like, oh my God, I've got to have a burger and a beer right now. So sometimes food can actually bring you back into your body when you've been flying too far away. And if you're a vegetarian, you can eat root vegetables. You know, red meat is good if you eat meat. Red vegetables are good if you don't eat meat. But carrots, beets, turnips, anything that grows in the ground, right, is going to have that grounding effect on your body. So yeah, there's lots of different ways that we can reconnect to our root chakra. Water. How many of y'all drink tap water with chlorine in it? Anybody? Does anybody do that anymore? Yeah. Um, uh, how many of y'all put a pinch of salt in your water? Anybody tried that before? Yeah.
I've used the
That would be,
LMNT stuff. What do you think of that?
say it again, Nancy.
That LMNT stuff? That's the salt drink, salt packets. What do you think of
Hmm.
those?
Well, I haven't seen one. I don't know what it is, but I just take a pinch of, I get sea salt from the grocery store and just put a pinch in
Yeah.
to my glass of water and let it dissolve. Yeah. So yeah, lots of ways to reconnect with the physical side. Um, and if you don't like exercise, dance. Okay, that's exercise, whether you think it is or not.
Just a
Some
fun
people,
exercise.
it's a much more fun exercise, right? Some people got to have the fun to go along, but and everyone has different definitions of fun, and we're going to see that when we look at the different charts that the different people have. So let's see. Any questions so far? Anybody got something they want to ask? I explained it all so well. Great. Good. um, all right. Well, let's go ahead and look at some charts. How about that? I'm going to let me just double check to make sure no one's having trouble joining. Okay, good. Okay, put that down there. Um, thank you all for sending your charts in ahead of time. People were trying to send me their charts in the middle of this workshop. It's like yesterday. I got to do this in advance. Okay, let's share that screen. Naomi, are you here? I know I see your
Yes,
name.
I'm
Good.
here.
Great. All right, you're first on the list, so let me share this screen. And so there are 5 or 6 or 7 different things I look at when I'm looking at a chart, just looking at Mars all by itself. Um, We might jump around a bit here and there, and but I'm going to keep it simple to begin with. But Naomi, we might circle back around to your chart in a bit. But the first thing you look at is what sign is your Mars in? And so we see that Naomi's Mars is in Leo. And so for the rest of you, and if you're following along on your chart, or if you're brand new to astrology and maybe you don't know a lot about Leo, you can read any book or any online, description of Leo, and it's talking about Leo's sun, but you just twist that ever so slightly and apply it to your root chakra, to your physical body, to how you move through the world. And so when you have Mars in Leo, it's like being a little bit Leo. And so that's what you do as, if you don't have an astrologer there in the room to explain everything about Leo to you, you can check it out online. Look for some descriptions of Leo and see how that resonates with you. So Naomi, what do you know about Leo that sounds right about you?
Leos like to perform.
Are you a performer?
Well, I teach, so I would say that that's kind of like.
Yeah, teachers are a perfect Leo example. I've used teachers as an archetype for Leo for years because especially if you got a school full of little kids, or even in this setting where I'm the teacher, everyone's watching me. Everyone's paying attention to me. Listen to me. I need your attention on me. Leo's like that. If they're a performer on stage, you're watching them on stage. If you're a teacher in school, you're watching the teacher, listening to what he or she has to say. It works either way. So, yeah, Mars and Leo. And you see how Naomi
It's
does.
especially that listening part. I like when people listen well. Yeah.
Right. And so you see that this is Naomi's work. Her job is I'm a teacher. And so that Mars, that work job is applied in a way that she can get your attention, that she can get the attention she wants. And it's not necessarily selfish. We all want some attention, but Leo has something important to share. That's why they want your attention so that you get the message and their share is not wasted. So yeah, Mars and Leo. So I'm gonna jump through, but like I said, Naomi, we might circle back around as we go. And let's see who's next on our list. Amy, are you there? Amy.
Which Amy?
Oh, I'm sorry, Amy Rudnick.
Yeah,
Can y'all-
Amy
Yeah,
Rudnick.
which Amy?
There you are. Hi, Amy.
Hey. I was
Um,
trying to figure out how to do the speaker thing.
All right, we got you. So here's your chart, and let's see. There's your Mars in Capricorn. And so we can talk about Capricorn, but I also want to call your attention to the fact that her Mars is right next to her Venus. And so that's another consideration you take in when you're looking at your chart. It's like, what other planets are connected to, if you're talking about Mars? We see a connection here with the moon also. We see a connection here with the north node of the moon, which we're not going to talk about today, but definitely a connection with Venus and Mars. So when you have Venus and Mars together, this is what I call the creative dynamic duo. This is the signature of an artist. So I want to know what Amy's art is.
Which Amy is this one for?
This is Amy Rudnick. You.
Oh, okay.
Oh, Amy Rudnick. That's me. Okay. I'm sorry. I thought you
Oh.
were saying it was for the other Amy.
Wait, Amy. Okay, I'm sorry. Your face is a little tiny, Amy. I couldn't.
No,
So,
my
yeah.
face isn't even on. I'm not, my face isn't showing. So
I'm
that's
sorry.
what.
That was Amy Higginbotham I was talking to. I'm sorry. Amy Rudnick.
Yes, I'm the Asian one. Okay,
Uh,
hold on. I don't know how to do this. Hang on 1 second.
there
Okay.
you
Can you see me?
there you are. Hi, Amy.
Hi.
You
I
know
don't know how to do that.
Amy.
I'm really bad at this electronic, Yeah, I'm like
Yeah.
a Neanderthal. Yeah, okay.
So, where's your artistry show up, Amy?
My artistry, well, I was a graphic designer.
Okay.
And so then I worked in the fashion industry, and I then became a life coach and gotten into the wellness industry. But now I'm kind of making jewelry and painting. I've been like in this creative mode lately. I can't stop.
Mhm. So you see how Amy's work is involved with beauty. See, Venus is the goddess of beauty and romance and creativity, and so you what were the first things you said, Amy? I lost the train. You were a designer. Oh, you Amy, you're muted. You're muted, Amy. Yeah.
Whoops. Okay. See, I touch my phone and it goes up. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you guys see me or no?
I can see you.
Okay, because I can't see myself. All right. Um, so yeah, so I got back into the arts because I used to be much more into the arts. But lately, like in the past year, I kind of got back more into the arts.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
design yeah. And so I also want y'all to take a look at Amy's camera, her picture. She's sitting in front of a work of art. Not every one of us is sitting in front of a work of art, has that big a thing of art in our room, but people more oriented towards Venus are going to have more art around. And so it's perfect that you're sitting there while we're talking about your Mars, which happens to be directly connected to your Venus. So thank you, Amy.
Thank
Um,
you.
we'll come back around, but
Yeah.
let's move through.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I want to do I want to do where is well Amy Amy Hathaway. I'm gonna pull your no Amy Higginbotham. Excuse me. I'm gonna pull your chart up since we teased you last time. We're
Okay.
going
Oh,
there.
and just so the other Amy knows, I'm also a graphic artist. I thought that was really funny. I think that has an Amy thing to it.
It goes
Oh,
with the
that's so
name.
funny. Yeah. So yeah, I just did all sorts of things in art. Like, I do jewelry design. So I make all sorts of paintings, and I don't do any
Hmm.
sculptures, but yeah.
Yeah, I paint and draw and all kinds of artistic stuff too.
Oh wow. Okay, cool. Are you in South Austin?
No, I'm in Mississippi.
Oh, okay. John, I know Johnny's all over the world. It's like,
He
where in the
is.
world is Johnny today?
Where in the world will we find Johnny today?
I'm right here. Okay. So
Looking
Amy,
good, looking good. All right, I'm gonna mute myself. Go ahead. Next name.
thanks, Amy. All right, Amy Higginbotham. So here's Amy's Mars up here, and we can see that. Let's talk about houses because we haven't mentioned the houses yet, but y'all know that each of these little sections represents a different place where the action happens. Houses are nouns, and then the planets are the verbs, and so the planet, the doer, is Mars in the eighth house, and the eighth house is traditionally called the house of death and inheritances. I call it the house, it's also considered the house of other people's money. And then I call it the house of responsibility. And so people with eighth house focus tend to be more responsible than others. Now, Amy's got some other stuff in the irresponsible houses as well, but She's got some
Are
layer
you
of.
trying to call me out, Johnny?
I just didn't want to pigeonhole you into being too serious. But yeah, you do have a serious side. I've witnessed that. Um, how do you feel about your level of responsibility, and does that show up in your work at all?
In my work, yes. Just day to day work definitely shows up there. I'm working on some things outside of just the regular 9 to 5 that is going to take that responsibility and try to run with it. But I'm interested that you said that it's also referred to as the house of death.
Yes.
Can you go into that a little bit?
Yeah. Well, people die.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone dies, and people with eighth house emphasis tend to be affected more strongly by deaths with people close to them, and or they also find themselves in professions like, for example, hospice care.
I'm a medium.
Okay, so you talk to dead people.
Yes.
You help people connect with loved ones that have crossed over.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So that made a lot of sense to me. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is what I love about astrology. It reinforces what we already find in our own lives. It shows us that nothing we do is random, that it fits a pattern. And we may not know the entire pattern, but you can see a lot of it when you look at a chart. When you study it like I do, you can see that pattern. Yeah. And my job is just to remind you that you're on the right path.
Yeah. I like that.
Okay, let's see who else we got. Bada boom, Naomi, Amy, we did Amy, Annabeth. How are you doing? I know she's here.
Oh, can you hear me now?
There you are. Hi.
Sorry, I'm live from the closet.
Well, it's a beautiful closet. Thank you.
It's completely empty. I'm in the middle of moving, so.
I'm glad you made time. Well, here's something cool about Annabeth's Mars. You see it's up here kind of all by itself.
Mm-hmm.
And in fact, that's not even a planet. That's Chiron. That's not a planet. That's the north node of the moon. So everything, all the planets except for Mars, are contained in half of the chart. And so this is what's called a bucket. And so this is the bottom of the bucket, and Mars is the handle of the bucket. And so in Annabeth's case, Mars is carrying the whole rest of the chart around. So Mars and root chakra issues really come to the forefront for Annabeth. It's probably more important for you to take care of that kind of business than anything else, than the average person, right? And the fact that you're Scorpio, which is ruled by Mars,
And
also.
Aries moon.
What's that?
And Aries moon.
Oh, good. Oh, wait a minute. I've got you with a Sagittarius moon.
Oh, I'm born in 1999, not 1990.
Oh, goodness gracious. How did I?
Might have
Let's,
mistyped. But I
let's
do
fix
know my
it.
Mars is in Capricorn.
Okay, let's fix that. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
1 second here.
Could have been my mistake.
Annabeth. Okay. Let's edit that chart. 1999. Yeah, it was just too many nines for my finger to type at the time. All right.
90s kid, but barely.
Okay, there's that Aries moon. Let me share my screen now. Okay, well, you don't have a bucket anymore. Sorry, but
but still a lot of Mars action.
yeah, a lot of Mars because, like you said, your moon is in Aries, the other sign ruled by Mars, Your sun is in Scorpio, the other sign ruled by Mars. Mars itself is in Capricorn, and this is another interesting feature. Every planet has a favorite sign to be in. Like Mars rules Aries and it rules Scorpio, but it's considered to be exalted or at its best when it's in Capricorn. So I would imagine you're the kind of person that gets a lot of stuff done or has a hard time if she's not getting a lot of stuff accomplished. Oh, did we lose you?
Oh no, I'm here. I do get a lot of stuff done. I'm a project manager for an interior designer right now. So I wear a lot of hats. But my career has not been linear. I'm like a jack of all trades at age
Yeah.
26 already.
All right, great. Well, you mentioned interior designer, and we can also see. Oh, that was. Hang on, I'm jumping. I'm jumping around. Well, that's about Venus, but we'll talk about that next month. But your Mars, one of the interesting things about your Mars is its connection to Jupiter. That's a square, and a square is a challenging um, relationship between planets. And so when Jupiter is touching any planet, Jupiter makes anything it touches bigger and more expansive. And so you think of Mars as your job or your occupation, and Jupiter's like, I can't just do one thing. I got to try something new, and I got to explore this, and I got to do that. And because it's a square, it can be a little difficult to make that transition. You might feel like, God, I feel like I should stick with this one a little bit longer, but I'm really feeling called to do something new. And so there can be some conflict when a square is involved. Does that sound right?
That resonates for sure.
So another interesting dynamic you have going on is the fact that Neptune is right next to your Mars. It's 6 degrees away, 6.5 degrees away, which is close enough. In astrology, anything within 9 or 10 degrees is considered right on. With these squares, it's about 7 or 8 degrees from exact is good. With a trine, again, 8 or 9 degrees from exact. So it doesn't have to be exactly exact to count. And this counts. What Neptune does, and Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto, where's Pluto? Those three outer planets all work differently than the inner seven planets. The inner seven are embodied, represented by the chakras. The three outer planets you can't see with your own eyes. So, in other words, they're not physical. They're spiritual. If you're not physical, then you're spiritual if you exist in this universe, right? And so the three would exist above your crown chakra if you count those higher chakras, if you like. I simply call them spiritual amplifiers. So they're giving you more to work with depending on which one of the seven they're connected to. And in this case, we're talking about your root chakra. And so you could be a superb athlete, you could be a workaholic, you could be a sex maniac, you could be a daredevil, or you could be all of them. Maybe you're all of them. Tell us if any of that sounds about right.
I've found myself working a lot. I'm in a season of life right now, though, where my job is part-time and I'm an independent contractor because I know if I took it on full time, I would like take on too much. So, but also the daredevil thing, like I definitely find thrills in adrenaline rather like physical, like adrenaline inducing activities rather than like getting really drunk. Like I'm always like wanting to go ride a roller coaster or something. So that sounds like me.
Yeah, I think I want my son is a Scorpio, and he was telling me something very similar last week. And I think y'all need to have a support group
I
to
would love that.
talk amongst yourselves, because the rest of us are like, I don't know. But Martians need to have that sort of thrill that it's can be adrenaline, but it can't just be challenge. It's like you get inspired and motivated by challenge more than anybody else. And the challenge is what makes it good. In fact, there's this great scene, if y'all remember that movie called A League of Their Own about the women's baseball league. Does anyone remember that? And anyway, there's a there's a man who's the manager of the ball team, and all the team's all women. And at one point, the star of the team is saying, "I don't want to do this anymore. It's too hard." And he said, "You love it because it's hard. If it wasn't hard, anyone could do it." And that's what motivates so many Martians. Like, let me prove myself. And so, yeah, it is. You're the Martian poster child, Annabeth, for amongst this group right here. I mean, you got Mars everywhere you look in this chart. Yeah. Okay. Let's see who else we got. Let me move that away over there. Boom. Brandy, are you here? Brandy Anderson, speak now. Let me see. I don't see Brandy. I don't see Brandy being here. Okay, we'll skip her for now. Let us hang on. Let me fix my screen. Okay. Cynthia, there you are. I know you're here. I see your face. Cynthia, can you say hi? You there?
Sorry, I was muted. I'm here.
Okay, good, good. Okay, so y'all can see Cynthia's Mars is in Scorpio. So very similar in many ways to Annabeth, who's like a super Martian. If your Mars is in the same sign that it rules, it makes you super Martian too. And I know Cynthia, I know what she does, and I see how this works for her. And I hope you're going to jump in and correct me if I say anything wrong. But I don't I don't see Cynthia as an athlete so much, but or a risk taker so much. But I do see her completely focused on health. She makes healthy food and healthy meals and coaches people on healthy living styles. Is that accurate, Cynthia?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's super Martian, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean like she has to move mountains or climb Mount Everest or swim the English Channel or whatever. It doesn't have to be feats of physical strength or incredible things like that. It can be like an intense devotion to health, the human body itself, right? That's root chakra stuff. So that's how we see that in Cynthia, and also we see a connection here with Chiron, and Chiron is somewhere between an asteroid and a comet and a planetoid. They keep reclassifying it, but Chiron in mythology is the wounded healer, and so the healing nature of food is Cynthia's prime area of focus. Am I right?
Yep.
Anything you want to add?
That pretty much covers it.
Yeah. Her Mars is also right next door to the north node of her moon. I said we wouldn't talk about this, but we will. The node of the moon represents destiny. It's like, I have to do this. I have been called to do this. I cannot not do this. That is where, when a connection to the North Node shows up, it's you're being compelled, you know. And then Uranus right next door, also just 4 degrees away from Mars. And so, like in Annabeth's case, where she had Neptune next to her Mars, Cynthia has Uranus next to her Mars. Uranus is one of those 3 outer planets or amplifiers. And so, yeah, she's got a lot of energy to spend, and it's good she has a focus for that. Otherwise, she'd be a
And
mess.
and right now I'm working on an app which is very Uranian, and health is part of it.
Oh,
But
that's right. You're working on the app to for truckers to have
mhm.
healthy options when they're trucking across the country.
Mental and physical health, yes.
Beautiful, beautiful. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Aaron, are you here? Aaron, calling Aaron.
I'm here.
There you are. Oh, there. Hi, Aaron. Okay. Aaron from Austin. All right. Uh, let's look at Aaron's Mars, and we see it right here sandwiched in between Uranus and the moon. So, uh, and it's in Sagittarius. It's a fire sign. Fire signs are uh, they're active. They don't sit still. She might have other parts of her chart that let her sit still, but her Mars has got to move a lot. And it's also because it's right next to the moon, there's an emotional component. The moon represents your emotional nature. And so I think without knowing Aaron that well, it might be a good guess that Mars emotions, which include anger, but also um, how do I put this? What's the word I'm looking for when you let's call it a high sex drive, right? Or if not high sex drive, you're the emotionality that comes with the sexuality is a bigger focus than it is for the average person. Some people are just like, I just a physical thing. Some people it's all emotional. This is a blending of the two. It's almost like being libido is a good word, Henry. But it's like I'm saying, it's in Aaron's case, it's probably tied in very strongly with the emotionality, which is, like I said, not everyone. Uranus, again, one of those amplifiers, just makes everything bigger and stronger. So definitely worth keeping on top of your root chakra needs, your healthy diet, plenty of rest, plenty of physical activity, again, to calm the emotions, to calm the mind, because this this Mars is literally on fire. You know, it's in a fire sign, it's getting boosted by 2 planets. Um, it's over here in the 7th house, which is the house of partnership and marriage. So it's like the people you're attracted to are going to trigger that stuff in you. And so learning how to be in a relationship. I have the same issue myself, Aaron. I've got Mars, excuse me, I have the moon in Aries in my 7th house, a sign ruled by Mars. And so some people like to be combative, even if it's just for fun. Uh, and some people think that's the worst thing ever. Like the first time I threw a snowball at my future bride, she thought I was being aggressive and attacking her. It's like, no, this is fun. Throwing the snowball at each other. It's not going to hurt. It's fun. But not everyone has that same orientation towards teasing or towards poking fun or towards physical aggression. One woman, she's a Scorpio rising friend. When I told this story to, she said, "Yes, aggression is the first sign of attraction. And so, it's like you don't just throw snowballs at anybody. You throw a snowball at someone, you want to get their attention, right? And so some people get that, not everyone does. And so we have to read the room. We have to read that other person to know whether they're the kind of person that's going to be all right with a snowball being thrown at them or not. Uh, but yeah, Mars and the moon, Mars with the moon conjunction like that makes you tougher emotionally than the average person. And so you can put up with a lot of teasing, whereas most people just melt at the first, little snide comment. So yeah, count yourself lucky amongst the tough people, but just remember that no one else is as tough as you are. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right. Let's see. So I hope y'all are starting to get a sense of how we go about this. We're looking at the house placement. We're adding in the sign. We're especially adding in the other planets that are connected to Mars. The connections, we call them aspects in astrology, whether it's a square or an opposition or a trine or a conjunction, whatever that connection is, the connections between the planets are the most important things because, looking at Aaron's chart, you see some of the lines are red and some of them are blue. Well, the red ones are the difficult ones and the blue ones are the easy ones. And so we struggle with parts of ourself. Some parts of ourself it's easy to manage. Other parts of ourself it's more difficult. And that's where we see, oh, what have I got? I've got the sun squaring the moon. I've got the sun squaring Mars. I've got Mercury squaring. So these are some internal conflicts, and not that Aaron's unique. I mean, everyone's got squares in their chart, but you have to be mindful of those if you want to have any sort of chance of managing them. And that's what astrology does for us. It makes us mindful in very specific terms of what the nature of this challenge is and how we can deal with it. So, Henry, there you are. I know I've seen your face in the chat. There he is. Good. Okay, Henry, here we go. Lo, looky there. Henry's Mars is also sandwiched between the moon on one side and one of those outer planets on the other. And what's fascinating is the difference between Henry and Aaron is that Aaron's is all over here in the seventh house. Henry's is all over here in the first house. And these two houses are opposite each other. And this is a fascinating point to make because in Henry's case, he sort of owns and embodies this part of himself. Like Henry, do you see yourself as being sort of raw emotionally and
Raw?
sort of like a live wire, like fire signs don't hold anything back. Everyone knows exactly how they're feeling.
In some ways, I can see that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Uh,
Now, I wonder about the Pluto because Pluto is very, very strong and powerful and dangerous. And a lot of people with strong Pluto don't like anyone. They can be afraid of like the bad, hard, like the internal Darth Vader is represented by Pluto. It's like, I know I've got that part inside of me and I don't want to let it out. So I'm just going to keep it under wraps. Does that sound more accurate?
Yeah, definitely. I feel as though sometimes I've had to like make sure I'm doing things for the right reasons. Um, think I think that's where I can see that.
Yeah, this is an awful lot of power. Just Mars and Pluto by themselves generates a lot of power. They're being amplified, or excuse me, they're being added to by the emotionality of the moon. So basically, like in Aaron's case, the emotional component of physicality, they're linked. You can't, like, if you think about your work in terms of what you do for a living, um, if you can use your sensitivity to other people in your line of work, that's going to pay off. What do you do for work, Henry?
Um, right now, all I've really done is work in restaurants, warehouses. Nothing really that personal, I'd say.
Yeah, but do you not also get a feel for how your coworkers are while you're in the restaurant or in the warehouse? Like, can you read their energy and know, who's having a good day and who's having a bad day?
Say so. Sometimes I can kind of tell what the sort of subtext of the environment is sometimes.
Yeah, so you can apply that sensitivity no matter whether you're a counselor or a warehouse worker. It doesn't matter what you do for a living, but being able to tap into that sensitivity is going to help you be more of who you are made to be, which is ultimately going to translate into being a better worker and more successful at whatever job you do. Yeah. But there's definitely there's some strength and some power right there with Mars and Pluto. Whether you're big or small, there's some force that comes with Pluto being next to Mars. And so, yeah, I would not want to piss you off. You might not hurt me physically, but you might hurt me emotionally or mentally. It's like the Darth Vader can come out with that light sword and just cut you in two. Pluto does for you. So yeah, like Aaron, staying on top of your physical needs, your root chakra needs, is going to keep you from going overboard in a direction that might cause you pain later on, right? So making sure you get your rest, making sure you get your good food, making sure you don't have too many free radicals floating around in your body. Make sure your digestion's working properly. All those things that are just so very basic. It's going to help sort of temper the power that comes with Pluto. Let me put it this way: it's a lot easier to be strong and strong-willed and even tempered if you're being fed properly, if you're healthy, if you're well rested. So you keep all that going like it should, it makes it easier to function in every way through the world as you move through the world. Yeah. But yeah, I would not ignore that Mars Pluto. That's big stuff. That's big power. Yeah. Okay. Tiffany and Jake, are y'all there? I see Tiffany. There she is.
Yes, we're here.
All right.
I'm sitting next to. Okay.
Next, Jake's there. We'll take your
Yeah.
word for
Hi.
it.
Sorry, I just got home out the shower.
All right. All right. Well, Jake, working late today?
Oh, the last couple days, boy, our teenage son, he's got a job and he's kind of got his own little small business thing going on, and he's just been working me the last couple days.
Well, that's good because you got Mars in Capricorn, and we talked about that earlier. Mars loves to be in Capricorn because it's a very productive sign, and so that keeps you out of trouble, literally, right? Mars all by itself with no connection to anything is a rebel without a cause. Just guys stirring up trouble because I got to spend this energy. Putting Mars in a place like Capricorn is just feels right. It's like, oh, I've got to focus. I have a purpose to spend this energy on. And so, yeah, your Mars is sitting pretty over there in Capricorn.
That's awesome. Yeah, it feels like everything's just clicking right now. So that's
Yeah,
good.
yeah. Well, you stay on top of it. Stay on top of it with basically you just don't want to sit still for very long. You get your
Yeah.
weekend if you want, but it's like you're here. You were here to make things and make things happen.
Well,
Hopefully
good.
that.
Yeah. I feel that. I feel that. It definitely it feels like I'm in that channel, man. Like things are happening. You know what I mean? And I'm not really too fatigued or wore out. I mean, it actually feels good. You know what I mean? Right
Mhm.
now, to be hitting it pretty good, pretty hard.
Nice. Very good. Very good. Tiffany. Oh, there's that Mars and Scorpio
Hi.
again. Boy, we got a room full of Mars and Scorpio today. So, have you been listening to the other stuff we talked about earlier?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have.
So, so you're like half Scorpio right there, with just Mars being in Scorpio. And there's Uranus right next to your Mars. So just like a couple other people we talked about earlier, your Mars is getting boosted or amplified. And so you've got more energy than the average person, which means you get more done than the average person, which also means your life might be more challenging than the average person because you're given, you know, the
Hmm.
energy to meet the challenges, and so they parallel each other. So, um, but yeah, you are here to just well. Here's another thing I should point out. When Mars is in a sign like Scorpio or Aries, especially, but Mars is also here to stir things up. Mars doesn't put up with dishonesty or hypocrisy or corruption. And so, Mars, think of the warrior who's fighting for a just cause. He's fighting for justice. He's fighting for fairness. He's fighting for democracy and the American way of life, or whatever you believe in. It's like, um, and if things are not going well, people with Mars and Scorpio, especially, and Mars and Aries also, they're not going to just keep their mouth shut. So do you find yourself triggering people once in a while?
Yeah, I mean, if it's an important issue, I get pretty fired up about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All these Mars, especially in Scorpio, is just going to like not tolerate the hypocrisy and the corruption. They're going to be the first one to call that out. And thank God we have people like that, because many of us will never call someone out. They'll just be like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And it's funny. Those are typically the Libra people, and you're half Libra yourself, right? But that Mars and
Hmm.
Scorpio doesn't allow you to keep your tongue to your voice to your thoughts to yourself forever. It's like you get to a point where it's like I can't just pretend this isn't happening anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. There's some issues that will get me fired up. Not all of it. I mean, it has to be important to me.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, and so for everyone who's listening in, we're looking here at another important point that shows up in almost every chart, and that's paradox. It's like the paradox of being Libra and Libra moon and Saturn in Libra, all this Libra, and Libra's sugar and spice and everything nice. It's sweet and it's kind. And Mars is like stirring shit up. And so you see a person who's both. And when we have paradox like that, we often struggle with, gee, should I say something or should I keep my mouth shut? It's like how many times or do you sit, Tiffany? I wonder, are you sitting in a situation and you have that conversation with yourself?
Oh my gosh, a lot. Yeah. I mean, just like, I don't know, like an example, like there could be somebody that, I mean, I'm just like, what are you doing? And it's, do you say something to them or
Right.
do you not?
Yeah. If your sun and your moon were in any other sign, you wouldn't struggle with that near as much. But because they're in Libra, it gives you, and I'm not saying it's good or bad, right or wrong. It's just who you are. Because if everyone was complete hothead, the world would already be destroyed by now. And so we need some people who are reserved and going to choose their battles and wait until the opportune moment, or sometimes wait to see if it doesn't fix itself. But yeah, um, that's uh, that's one thing you have to take into consideration. Mars all by itself in Scorpio is one thing, but it's not the whole picture. You have to blend all the rest of the chart in to how you're looking at your Mars. So it's a part, it's a chunk of the picture, but it's not the whole picture. Yeah. Let's see. Kayla, are you here? Let's see. I don't see I don't see Kayla in the room. So we will skip over her for now. Nancy and Tracy have the same birthday. So this is going to be fascinating because they're not the same year, and I bet they're not the same Cancer. Let's see. Nancy Bergeron is Mars in Cancer, and Tracy is Mars in Sagittarius. So even though they're both Aries, you can see their is in Aries. Um, they have a different flavor of Aries because you see Mars rules Aries. So if your sun is in Aries, the sign that Mars is in is almost just as important as the sign Aries itself. It's like Aries cake with Cancer frosting on it, right? In Nancy's case, and then in Tracy's case, it's Aries cake with Sagittarius frosting on it. Completely different experience, right? Um, I mean, what if you had angel food cake with vanilla icing versus angel food cake with chocolate icing? It can be that different. And so looking at that Mars sign is the first most important thing for an Aries. So here we are, Nancy. You are a Cancer flavored Aries. And so back to what we are just talking about with Tiffany, um, it's like there's a lot of calling out corruption and calling out hypocrisy with Aries all by itself, but because Mars is over here in this sweet, soft, nurturing sign of Cancer, uh, if you're going to call someone out, you may not be as harsh as other people when you do so. I mean, you can be, I'm sure, if you have to, but generally, you're going to be a little softer than the average Aries in the way you come across. Does that sound likely, Nancy?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. Now, Tracy, on the other hand, Tracy, her Mars is in another fire sign, just like Aries. And so I'm not saying Tracy's not sweet because I've been teaching Tracy for half a year online, and she's very gentle and soft spoken in many ways, but I would say Tracy's got an edge when she needs it, right? Are you there, Tracy?
Yes, I'm here. And yes, actually, I was thinking when you said angel food cake for Nancy, I was thinking devil's food cake for me
There you go.
because when I get set off, then it's done. The shade goes down. It's
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah, you're more likely to burn the house down.
Yeah.
All
Yes.
that fire going on.
Yeah.
Whereas Nancy's got not so much fire. You got two planets in fire, Nancy, but Tracy's got Sun and Moon and Venus and Saturn and Mars. So yeah, I would say Tracy's done a great job of keeping her temper in check. Now she has the help from this trine. See, there's a blue line connecting Mars to her sun. So for her, there's not as much internal conflict about being fiery. And so it's just kind of a natural way of being. And you probably don't stay angry forever. Yeah.
Very short-lived.
Yeah.
It's
It's
like
a flash. Yeah. It's a flash fire, not a 10 alarm blaze that takes all night. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
On fast. Yeah.
Yeah. And you see also her Mars down here in the fourth house, which represents family, home life and family. And I know Tracy's very involved with her daughter's welfare. And so even though her daughter's grown, it's been a focus of her life for some time, right? Her whole life.
Yes. And what's that planet next to it? What's that? Is that Neptune?
That is Neptune, but it looks like it's next to it, but it's not because it's that is 14 degrees away. That's too far away to count as a conjunction. So they are near each other, but it actually means nothing at all.
Okay.
Yeah. So the only thing we're seeing with your Mars is that trine to the sun, which again is nice and supportive. So, all right, Sorel, I know you're there, and I'm looking for your chart.
Okay.
We haven't found it yet. Let me scroll through. But I thought I put you in here. Let me find you. Hang on a second.
Okay.
I do not have you in here. You want to just tell me your birthday, Sorel?
Sure. It's March 20th, 1973.
And do you know what time?
1:39 a.m., I think.
Okay. And where were you born?
Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson, Mississippi. Okay, here we go. Okay, March 20th, 1973.
Yes.
Okay. Let me share my screen now. There it is. Okay. All right, you see Sorel. Oh, look at you. You've got Mars and Capricorn also. I think there's three of you tonight with Mars and Capricorn. So, are you very productive? You get stuff done?
I do.
Do you have trouble sitting still?
I do. It's hard sometimes.
Yeah, you're here to, and the thing is, some people get more stuff done than other people, and you're one of those people. And so it's just your lot in life to be moving on. You know,
Gotcha.
It's the person you are. It's not like God cursed you. It's like God made you this way because that's what you came here to do, right?
Right.
So let's see what else we're seeing here. Um, we got a square to Uranus. So that, remember, Uranus is an amplifier or a booster, and so it gives you extra energy. Because it's a square, it might be difficult. It might be like, are you the kind of person that just goes and goes and goes until they collapse?
Yeah, sometimes I'm like that. Then sometimes I can find a balance.
Yeah, Uranus has a hard time recognizing boundaries and limitations. He likes to be free at all times, and so yeah. So again, with anyone who has a square to their Mars, it's really important to pay attention to food and water and grounding and getting enough sleep and getting all of those root chakra needs met. That is, you're more likely to have a breakdown in the root chakra area of life because of Uranus. So that the more that you can take care of yourself, food, water, etc., the easier time you're going to have.
Okay.
But it ain't easy. It's
right.
Just, let's see what else. Looks like you got some support here between Mars and the Sun. That's called a sextile, 60 degrees away from each other. And so when your Mars and your Sun are happy with each other, that tells me that you got some good health. Like health and mentality is usually pretty strong. Do you ever get sick?
No, hardly ever.
Yeah. Yeah. We're going to throw Venus in the picture too, because Venus is actually even closer to exact sextile to Mars than the Sun is. So what's your creativity and your art like? Do you have one or both, or
My creativity, I love to dance. I haven't done it a lot, but lately what I've been doing is I've been biking a lot because it's just like I just felt like a little kid on a bicycle again. I got me a bike and started just riding my bike because I had my inside bike, my Peloton. And I said I want to get out in nature, so I just started riding my bike, and I've had so much fun just getting on that bike and just
nice, nice. How about kids? You got any kids?
yes, I have 3.
Okay. So that's creativity also, right? That's
Right.
creating people. So
Yeah.
again, when you put Mars and Venus together, that's what I call the creative dynamic duo. And so you find it in extra creative people, a connection to Mars.
Okay.
So making babies, making whatever else you make, art, having fun. What do you do for a living, Terrell?
I'm a receptionist, so I'm not really liking the desk job. I want to get out and move more. And I've always been feeling, I was like, I'm not used to sitting down like this. I want to move more, doing something where I'm moving around because my body's used to moving. It's not used to being sitting down confined to a desk for 8 hours a day.
Yeah, so that Uranus Mars square doesn't like it sitting down. So that will, in terms of your health, that will get you sooner or later. If you stay at that job for too long, Uranus is going to let you know it's time to do something different. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been there 4.5 years, and I've already been looking for something else. I just felt like I said I need movement. I'm not used to sitting down.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. What else? And you're a Pisces, right?
Yes.
A lot of people say they're on the cusp, but it's like you're either on the Pisces side or you're on the Aries side. You're not both. And so
right.
you're on Pisces. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we've gone through everybody, and I know Naomi had a question a minute ago. Let me see if I can find that. Curious about your energy, Naomi. You want to be more specific, Naomi? Is there something specific you want to ask? You still here,
Well,
Naomi?
yes, I'm still here.
Okay.
I just feel like sometimes I get kind of scattered, and I just wondered if in my chart, it had some clue about, making decisions, and so things like that.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um, hmm. Well, you're Scorpio rising, so you are ruled by Mars. The tricky part, the paradox, and we're back to paradoxing. The paradox is Neptune is right there, and Neptune is the dreamer and the imaginer, and not so concerned with definition and certainty. Neptune wants to just keep it in the imagination, and Mars is like, I got to have some orders. I need you to tell me what to do, and I'm going to do it. And Neptune's like, oh, let me think about it some more. So, yeah, that's what's going on. So um the prescription is this. Um, you you imagine and dream and idealize and visualize what you want, and then you say, okay, we're done idealizing for now, and we're going to go do it. You can go back and revisit Neptune for an update or a change, but you can't just stay in limbo forever like Neptune would prefer you to do. Mars will give you trouble if you do that. So yeah, find your highest vision, your highest dream, your goal, your highest goal, and give Mars those marching orders so it can do that thing. Change it when you need to. But yeah, you got to give Mars something to do or he's unhappy.
So it's kind of like a schedule. Is that what you're saying? Like stay on schedule.
Well, you could say schedule, but also just like, what are we doing now? What's our goal? I need a focus more than anything else if I'm Mars. Yeah. If if uh if you're struggling with grounding, having a focus is a great recipe for getting back on track. And you can change your focus if you start going in one direction and decide later on that it's not where you want to be. Change, but have a direction because Mars has got to do something. And that movie Rebel Without a Cause is a perfect example of Mars that doesn't have anything to do. So he's just going to stir up some shit and cause some trouble and piss people off to no purpose. And so you don't want to become the next James Dean. You want to have your energy contained within the boundaries of a mission, a job, a focus. That's what Mars loves the best. All right. Savvy?
Sure.
Okay. Anybody else got a question? I think we're getting close to, we are right at 9 o'clock. So anything else, y'all?
Could you maybe put it back on my chart again so that I could see what that placement was one more time?
You bet.
Thank you.
Let's see. Oh, I'm down here. There you are, Amy.
Thank you.
Okay, what were you wondering? Your placement?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're up here in the eighth house, the serious house.
What sign is that in? I can't tell. I have no, why are the, I don't know much about charts at all. So what is it? Because I've noticed like the signs change with the houses from chart to chart. Why does it do that? The astrological symbols that are on the outer ring.
What
Like,
what about it?
do they change positions from chart to chart depending on like your naturally your birthday or
It
whatnot?
it
Or
changes
do they
depending.
fix? Because it looked like they were changing.
Yes, it depends on your rising sign. That
Okay, okay,
changes the houses that I was talking about. Yeah.
okay. That makes more sense to me now.
Okay. Yeah. Everyone who's Libra rising is going to have Gemini up here just about. But if you were Sagittarius rising, you have something else up there. And if you're Pisces rising, you have yet something else right there in that part of your chart.
Okay, okay. I gotcha. Now I understand a little better.
The
Thank you.
the that ring is representative of the rotation of the Earth on its axis. And so the constellation on the horizon out here in space changes as the Earth spins.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm going to stop the share for a minute and thank you all for being part of this. Oh, let's see. Henry wanted to ask why you would use the cock over another. Uh, the astrologer that I admire the most recommended cock, and that's why I do him. I've tried some other systems. Placidus is okay, but I found cock is really pretty accurate most of the time. But again, the house systems are uh, it's a variable that has not been settled upon by astrologers. So we have to sort of take it with a grain of salt. Um, okay, there we
Hey,
go.
Johnny, will you be able to, are you going to send us the replay of this, or can we get a hold of the replay?
What I'm going to do is post this on my YouTube channel. So once we're done, it'll probably be tomorrow, maybe by the time, but I'll get a link out to everyone in email and say,
Awesome.
yeah, here's where you can watch this. And
Yeah.
y'all have fun with this. Play around, start looking at your chart. You can look at more than Mars. Do whatever you want, of course. But I'm gonna be covering the same things with Venus next month, and then Saturn after that. We'll go through the chakras. And um, yeah, if your Mars is in Capricorn, read about Capricorn, and that'll help you see at least some of what you're reading about Capricorn Sun is going to apply to you.
Okay, great.
If it's
Thanks.
in Sagittarius, read a little bit about Sagittarius. Whatever sign your Mars is
Hmm.
in, read something about that sign, and
Yeah.
that will help you learn. So, um, okay, that is that. Let me know if you need any help. Of course, I can do this for you if you want a full reading. Um, Also, I want to tell you all about a new thing that I'm doing, and that is a a travel on your birthday astrology. So every year you get what's called a solar return chart on your birthday, and that's like
Hmm.
an extra chart you add in just for that one year. And a lot of people get a solar return reading, and Naomi's had a solar return travel reading before. She's had two, in fact. And I basically said, Naomi, uh, your birthday's coming up, and on that day, you want to be over here instead of in Austin because the lineup of the stars and the horizon is going to be more favorable if you go out of town on that day. And that is what she did. And what did you tell me, Naomi, at in the towards the end of that year? see if she's still there.
I'm still here. I made like a list of things that I wanted to have resolved in my life at that, just kind of like you were talking about manifesting, and all of them were resolved. So I was really kind of surprised about that. So, but I have a whole nother set. So
Right. Every year you get a whole nother birthday and a whole nother chart for that year. But yeah, if y'all are interested in that, you can check it out on my website. I there are solar return when your sun returns back to where it was when you're born. There's Venus return, and Venus has to do with your creativity and your love life. So if you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, this is going to help because a Venus return, like, is good. It can help you minimize conflict in the relationship, or it can help bring it to the forefront if you prefer that. It can help you maximize your opportunities for connection. If you're not in a relationship, it basically is a forecast for the next year on your love life. So I do solar return, Venus return, and I also do Mercury return in case you're a Gemini or a Virgo, or Gemini or Virgo rising. You're ruled by Mercury, and that's your mind. So I have a couple different astro travel readings if you're interested in putting yourself in the right place uh, at the right time. You can check that out. So thank you all again. And if there's nothing else, I'm going to sign off. I'll email you that link probably tomorrow so you can rewatch this on YouTube. And feel free to share with your friends. And I'll also email everybody next month when I schedule the Venus second chakra workshop. Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good to see you all,
Thank
and
you.
hope to see you next time.
Yes.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.